Hello, everybody. Thank you for your patience. We're going to get started. Welcome the City of Port St. Lucie Engineering Standards Stakeholder Public Workshop. First of all, thank you for attending in person and virtually. In person, we have the form. If you have any questions, please fill it out and we will answer your questions. If you're attending virtually, please give us a thumbs up, letting us know that you can hear us. Also, if you could put a little information in the chat just to make sure that that's functioning properly, that would be great. If you do have any questions, we would like to see your questions in the chat, and we'd also like you to include your name and who you're with if you have any questions. Those will be answered following the presentation. Again, thank you so much for attending. I'm going to turn it over to Clyde Cuffey with the Public Works Department.
Good evening, Clyde Cuffey, Public Works Department Regulatory Division Director. So we're going to present the engineering standards updates. We last did our engineering standards in 2025, so it's been about 5 years now. And we have various updates. Some are just, majority of them are just clean up, just to clarify existing language or procedures that we are following. And then we do have a few new items being added. Okay, so like said, this is just first slide is an overview, updates to various procedures and policies already in place. We added references to various manuals that we use, clarified the requirements for the right-of-way permits and perform for the right-of-way permit to perform work within the city's drainage and right-of-ways. Also clarified directional bore requirements, stormwater management criteria, the allowable drainage pipe material that's used on roadways, as well as reinforced concrete pipes for residential driveways. So under Section 8.3 of roadway network requirements, it provides a revision to the roadway network requirements. New roads shall extend to the parcel boundaries to allow for connectivity, as well as new developments shall connect to existing road stub-outs from adjacent parcels. And Section 8.6 covers the roadway cross-sections, and Section 8.7 pavement designs. We added clarification to all adjustments to asphalt base and subgrade thicknesses to meet the minimum pavement structural number. And we also added a minimum structural number of 1.61 for temporary parking lots that are usually bonded for removal. In Section 8.9, medians, 4-lane roadway and any roadway with a minimum design speed of 35 miles per hour or greater shall require a median. We also updated the requirements for, instead of a 2-foot paver band, it should be a 2-foot wide concrete band on the median, and specified the color and pattern of the concrete band. In Section 8.10 and 8.11, which is the intersections and modern roundabouts, we updated the reference to FDOT Design Manual, Intersection Control Evaluation Manual, and the FDOT NCHRP Report 672. Section 8.12, which is driveways, we added street lighting is required when connecting a driveway to a collector or arterial roadway. Irrigation sleeve is required in all driveways. We updated the FDOT standard plan index for driveway geometry, updated the requirements for tooled traverse joints on concrete sidewalks. We added a requirement for forming residential driveways, and including the saw cutting of the existing edge of asphalt and providing hot mix asphalt repair. We added code references for the number of access points required for residential subdivisions and updated the NCHRP reference to left turn lanes. In Section 8.15, which is sidewalks, we clarified the minimum sidewalk width if a sidewalk is located adjacent to a back of curb or edge of curb. It also adds a minimum thickness for concrete sidewalks within 5 feet of the driveway. We added a 4-foot minimum sidewalk within the for curb ramps and landings, and sidewalk crossing driveways. We also added the specification for installation of curb ramps with detectable warnings and the restoration of asphalt hot mix, as mentioned earlier on. Mobility plan, which is section 8.19, is a new section. We added that to our engineering standards and also provide the city URL link for that website. Section 9.1 is pavement markings. We added a new striping on public roads shall follow FDOT specifications, added the mill and overlay as the preferred method to remove striping. We clarified hydroblasting as a method to remove pavement markings on final lift is prohibited. Also, black paint is prohibited as a means to cover the existing paint. Retroreflectivity pavement marking standards shall be by the MUTCD, and we also added marked crosswalks shall be special emphasis. In section 9.1.2 signage, we added sign general criteria and requirements for driver feedback signs. In section 9.2 signalization, we added condition and specifications for temporary span wire assemblies, added controller assembly for cabinet specifications, updated the signal head specifications, added the 4 sections flashing yellow arrow sign heads, and also updated specifications for traffic monitoring cameras. We updated this accessible pedestrian signals qualifications, specified the countdown requirements for all new and modified pedestrian signals, the specification for construction material of the new signal heads, the qualification for leading pedestrian intervals, and specifications for treatment of pedestrian sidewalks at mid-block and unsignalized intersections. In section 10.1, which is landscaping and irrigation, we updated the reference to irrigation standards. The bicycle and pedestrian facilities is section 11.1. We added requirements to evaluate connections and crossings at intersections and mid-block crossings, sorry. In section 12.4 deals with stacking and parking areas. We clarified the requirements for the queuing analysis. And in section 13.1, which covers the waste and recycling facilities, we added the design of waste and recycling facilities must ensure drainage is directed internally. For submittals, which is section 14.1, sorry, we added the requirements for revision clouds. 14.2 covers plats. We added the reference to the plat review checklist in the Appendix A of the specifications. And shop drawings, section 14.16, we added requirements for shop drawings for all private development projects that will eventually be turned over to the city for ownership and maintenance. Section 14.18, the operation and maintenance of maintenance manuals. We did an update to the requirement in that the manuals must be provided even if the city does not specifically request them. Section 15.2, performance guarantees. We added requirements to provide a guarantee on all work performed within the right-of-way. 15.3 added requirements for work done within the right-of-way as off-site improvements. Section 16.1, which is the clearing and mass grading permit, removal of specific response time for the issuance of the permit. We extended the validity of the permit to 1 year, which was previously 6 months, and did the same for the site work permit. Driveway culvert permit, which is section 16.4, we add the requirements for third-party verification for the authenticity of the signature on all the surveys. Also added requirements for 12-inch minimum temporary pipe, which needs to be installed in the right-of-way. Also extended the permit from 6 months to 1 year. Section 16.5 added clarity that the road lane closure must be provided for any roadway or sidewalk a minimum of 48 hours prior to closure. Section 17.7, we added the requirements for the construction entrance located to be on the most minor roadway. Section 18.3 added requirements for intersection of right-of-way irrigation components by city irrigation inspector. Section 19.3, roadway turnover, we added recommendation for submitting the turnover documents ahead of time for review prior to submitting official request. And standard details, we update the prevent restoration detail. Pavement restoration detail, sorry. And that concludes all of the changes that we had. So we now open it to any questions.
So we do have some questions from our in-person meeting. If you have any online, this is the time now to put it in the chat. But we'll go ahead and start with the questions that we have. Would it make more sense to expand the pedestrian areas to include landscaping rather than a median?
Can you repeat that?
Would it make more sense to expand the pedestrian areas to include landscaping rather than a median?
Like sidewalks, so getting an additional portion afforded to do for like trees and everything. Basically like an additional buffer between the road and pedestrian, adding landscaping in there instead of putting in a median.
So actually, we do have a section in there where we have, we're putting in a request for at least a minimum of 5 feet buffer between the sidewalk and the travelway. But we are also following FDOT requirements for median sizing.
Okay, so is it FDOT?
Yeah.
I just didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question is, bike paths near highways seem to be very dangerous. Is there a better way to lay them out, maybe more space and or a barrier?
Speaking towards the St. Lucie West Boulevard, I've never seen a single human being on there, but I've seen so many people just in their cars just swerve in and out to right onto that and like drive on the bike paths. I wouldn't put anyone to like ride the bike on there.
So as far as bike paths go, where they share the road, we definitely follow FDOT specifications on that. But then we have one of the changes that we're making is to do roadway classifications. So based on the classification of road, there may or may not be bike paths shared bike paths on the road.
Okay, and then why doesn't the city use Fusion for more of the submittal task? For example, pre-construction meetings and CDS.
So the Fusion app is really intended for the initial submittals that go through the plan and zoning process. So it is different from plans that's directed solely to one department. So permitting, for instance, public works permitting. Is that right, Mary?
Okay, did you?
Take it under consideration in the future, but it wasn't set up for that, a meeting organizer, scheduler.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll take it into consideration for the future.
Okay, we have asked online if anyone has any questions online. Did you have any additional questions?
Could you go back to like, I think it was like 14, section 14, end of the presentation?
Correct, yes. Yeah.
So Clyde, can you repeat the question just for the people online in case they don't hear?
Yeah, so the question was with section 14.1, whether we're just looking for revisions on the PDFs. So the answer is yes, PDFs and any, well, if they're CAD generated documents, but generally we get the PDF as part of the submittal.
Okay. So if you had like, if you had two revisions, would you freeze the first one or would you keep all of the going on?
So the question is whether you keep the revision on each if you have multiple revisions. Typically, you'd cloud the revision, the current revision. Once it gets approved, it's the clouds are no longer needed for that. Yeah, so you just show the next set of revisions if there are any. You're welcome.
Thank you. We do not have any questions online. Again, we want to just allow this final opportunity for any additional questions online, and if not, we will close the meeting.
Yes, so the red lines of the actual document will be available on our website in addition, together with a copy of this video. So we'll have that available on our website so everybody can take a look at it, go through the entire document and see all the changes that we've made. And that'll be available either later this week or by next week for the latest. Okay, so yeah, if we don't have any other questions, thank you everyone for participating, and we look forward to seeing your comments if there's any.